here. So,
Working on the street.
who knows? I'm not sure.
Hello, everybody. It's Gwen Peterson, founder of Spiritual Communities Network, and I'm here with Denise Flood of Change Your Frequency, Change Your Life. And we're here for Funny Fridays. And so we were trying to, took us a second to get Denise squared off in the video square. But I think we've got her. You good?
I am. I just can't see you. I don't know why today. I only see me.
Huh.
I know.
There must be some kind of view thing on your end that maybe you can click on.
A you thing?
On your, a you thing on your side of the thing. On your
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there's my big old hand there in the way. It's okay. Although I do love to see you. You can see me.
I can see you fine. Yep.
And I hear you fine. I think Mercury is still in retrograde. I'm just going to go with the flow because apparently we are also fully immersed in the water element in Mercury retrograde. So I am going to tread water here.
We've
and
got all kinds of stuff that you're still coming off of a full moon and we're going into a fall equinox. So
who can do that? Blue moon.
Blue moon. Yeah. There you go. Yep. It was a blue moon. Misty mentioned that. She mentioned that as we were sitting in that squall for an hour or two.
We really missed, what do they call that? We didn't bite the bullet. We missed whatever. It went by us.
Dodged the bullet.
Oh, dodged it. Yes. Thank you.
You were. You can't see me. I was swooping and dodging and ducking.
Wait, maybe there's this little thing. I see some 3 dots here. Pardon my fingers, folks. View. Local. I have no idea. Extra camera, new. Local video. I do not know. I'm afraid to click on anything.
Is there a little camera button underneath anywhere?
There is this, but that takes me away.
Oh, yes, it does.
Yay. Okay. And I'm perfectly balanced here. Oh. You guys are coming to me straight.
You got to move to your right again a little bit.
To the right. To the right, to the right.
Are you standing?
I am, because where I was normally...
Put a little X on the floor. That's where you can stand.
I'm watching it right now. I guess I spooked the kitty cat because she was sleeping right here. No more dancing.
My ex sent me a meme, a cartoon, or whatever you want to call it, that said, I'm old enough to, what it was. The thing says that the person was in the grocery store and there was an X on the floor for them for where they needed to stand, but they were old enough to remember the Road Runner.
Oh, yes. So don't stand on the X.
Don't stand on the X.
I just realized, can you hear that background music? I had the music on for the cat. I can turn it off. Does it interfere?
A really little bit. You might want to turn it off just in case. We don't want to have any kind of copyright.
Right. They might flag us for the calm and soothing cat music video that I have on.
Right. The early days of starting to do this stuff live, I didn't have now I'm using my directional mic, which helps a lot. So I do have music in the background, but you can't hear it. But back when I was using just the microphone from the computer, I remember uploading to YouTube a video I did, and it flagged me for my background music. I was like, background music? Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't even realize I had it playing, I guess, consciously. So, yeah, we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
So, we'll see if this one gets flagged or not.
Sorry.
It'll all
Yeah.
be Denise's fault.
You know what? I take full responsibility. Um, I have been on grand kitty watching and soothing her. They left yesterday morning, and she misses them. Actually, when Krista called me and she was on FaceTime, um, the kitty kissed my fingers where I was holding the phone up for her to see her
Aw,
mommy. It was so cute.
aw,
Yeah, it does
aw.
my heart good. I think I really not only is it nice to just have some quiet time, not in my own home, because then I'm not thinking, oh, do I need to do the dishes? Did I run the all those things of everyday life, but just to have that little bit of a fur baby heartbeat next to you. I've missed that.
Yeah, yeah, they're sweet.
Yeah.
They are sweet, to say
And
the least.
mischievous, I am finding out.
You're mischievous?
Oh, well, I will admit to that, but I was talking about the kitty.
What's the kitty doing?
Oh, just silly things, you know, how still a pretty young kitty, not a year old yet, so very much into play and just getting into, you know, I'm not used to when I open the fridge, somebody barreling down through and jumping in,
Oh, no.
right?
Well, if kitten is like that, you might wanna be careful of dryers because, some cats, they'll jump into those dryers and people don't realize it and turn it on, and so, yeah, she likes to jump into things, you might wanna make sure not the
I
dryer.
wonder if that's where they got the name Fluffy for cats. Oh, just
I think they're a little bit more than fluffy when they come out.
oh gosh, yeah. No, it's really fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm saying that on day one,
Right? Now how long are they gone for?
a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been there a week already, right?
No, I've been coming on Fridays, like just over the weekend. Michael has goes to Fort Lauderdale a lot of times on Fridays, not only for his mom, but he's uh, he's working there with the there's a college of dentistry up there, so he's been going there. They've been helping him with his teeth. We have not found a good dentist in Naples, and so somebody suggested that, and they're phenomenal because they're a teaching
Okay.
hospital. They're
Alright.
not a hospital, a teaching school,
Right,
university.
right.
And so, like, just to do one quadrant of cleaning, they'll take 2 hours.
Oh,
And
wow.
then you come back the next time because the student does it, then the I guess whoever the student's supervisor is comes and checks,
Right.
and then the professor comes and so you're like getting top of the line work at prices that are much more economical.
Yeah, my
So
girlfriend, when she was, going into dental hygiene, she, she's like, "Gwen, I need somebody to, um" there was a name for it. She not practice on. She needed someone to do the work on so she could have somebody check it out. Kinda like what he's doing
right,
there,
right.
but it wasn't. Yeah, and maybe it was the exact same thing. 'Cause all I know is, she asked me if I would do that, and I was like, "Sure." So I was at Michigan State, and she was up at, the university that was well, it's a university now, it wasn't at the time, about an hour away. So I was like, "Sure, I'll come up for the weekend, and you can clean my teeth." So I went up and yeah, it took a while, she did it and yeah, she was checked out to make sure it was good and all that. And then she's like, "Your gums look like they've had a lot of wear and tear on them. What kind of toothbrush do you use?" I go, "What do you mean what kind of toothbrush?" She goes, "Soft, hard." I go, "Hard." She goes, "Well, get that out and let me see it." When we got back to her place, she takes my toothbrush and she feeds it to her dog. She's like, this dog's slobbering all over it and chewing on it like a chew toy. I'm like, "Lynn, that was my toothbrush. What is what's wrong with you?" She goes, "Never use a hard bristle, always a soft bristle." And I was
You
like,
know, I always thought
"Okay."
that way as well, that the hard bristle was better. And yeah, our dentist had told us that um, using a soft bristle for the gums years ago. He's since retired, which is why we were dentist hunting
Right?
and just couldn't find anybody on the West Coast that said, "Oh my word, we absolutely love our dentist."
I love my dentist. It took me a while to find it. Him, he's in Bonita.
Oh, Benita, okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know. Yeah, okay.
I went there because I was having problems with dentists who felt they needed to do x-rays all the time.
Mm.
I don't get cavities. I'm sorry or
Are
not.
you? Yeah,
I'm
I
not
was saying, are
sorry.
you
You know
really?
what?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
not
sorry.
sorry.
I'm not sorry. I don't
Good.
get I have, I think, 3 cavities, and I had them back when I was, like, in middle school, maybe? They're
Mhm.
so old, I don't even remember when I got them, right?
Right,
And, um, and those are the only ones I have. And
right.
so I told I'd go in and the dentists are like, "We need to do your x-rays." I'm like, "No, no. I don't need to do x-rays. Nothing wrong with the teeth. Everything's in good shape." "No, no. Well, we can skip." They were like, "Well, we can do one every year." And I was like, "No, I don't think." So I was able to push it to like a 2-year mark before they started threatening me. They started at first they told me, "It's against the law to not
What?
have it's against the law to not have, x-rays done." I said, "I don't know what country you're living in, but we haven't gotten to that stage yet."
Oh my word.
It's against the law. And then the next time they were like, the dentist got right in my face and he said, and they'd gone through a couple different ones. They were trying to sell the practice. And the one got right in my face and he says, "I will not be sued by someone like you." And I went, "Someone like me?" Somebody like me who has no cavities in their mouth. I'm gonna sue you for what? Cavities that I don't have? And he's like, "You either, you either get the blah blah blah, the x-rays or." And I was like, "Well, I guess it's time for me to look for a new dentist." And I forget how I came by him.
Yeah, those were the kind of
But
stories and others even
yeah.
worse and that just we just were like, "Oh,
Yeah, we were there because there was a doctor that was there at the time who took care of Misty's overbite, underbite, whatever. She needed some work done. And this guy, somebody recommended it. And at the time, the one dentist in there was really good. And it was mostly for Misty, to get her thing switched around. And that all went well. But like I said, they started switching and they started giving them a hard time. And so I found this new one in Bonita who I went in and I said, "Well, I hear you don't require people to always get x-rays." And he is like, "No," he goes, "No, I don't." He says, he uses an infrared tool. So what he'll do is he'll just put this little wand in your mouth and he just scans your teeth and it'll show if there's any kind of divots or anything going on in the teeth that need addressing. And
what?
he's like, "Yeah, your teeth are fine." It's like,
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. Yeah, they've come so far with all of those things, and why not embrace the new technology? It's so
right.
much less invasive for you."
Yeah. Yeah, he's really laid back. I'll tell you what, he's super laid back. He's a young guy, and he is just it's just him and his, I don't even know if he does the cleaning, okay? And I have my girlfriend who's a hygienist, she says, hygienists will tell you that's the worst thing in the world is to have the doctor actually clean your teeth. And I was like, "Okay." So, anyway, he cleans my teeth, and he does have an assistant there, but she polishes your teeth. She doesn't clean them, and it's just the 2 of them, and it's very just calm and relaxed and, really
Okay.
easy going.
I will inquire with you about that further. I haven't needed any dental work in years, which I've been very blessed. Um, and I was just going to say, I don't know if you see me keep glancing because the kitty has now awoken and is like looking at why my phone is on the kitty climbing post.
Oh, no.
So if everything suddenly
He
like
wants to get in the hammock.
flies in the air, yeah. Oh, okay. She is traveling over to the far side. Okay.
Remember that cartoon? Those were
I was just going to say that. I love the Far Side's Gary Lawson, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
so
Yeah. He's
hilarious.
still around?
I don't know, and I do think that, like, okay, and maybe have we
I'm
lost
gonna
that
say
art of having cartoon books in our bathrooms?
comics? Are you talking
Yeah,
about comics?
yeah. 'Cause I used to have Calvin and Hobbes and the Far Side and those
Far
things
Side, yeah.
to
I used to have that on my work desk when I was in corporate. I had the Far
okay.
Side on there just so I could
Calendar or yeah.
I think it was the calendar, yeah, and when I said, "Is he still around?" I meant, "Is he still around making his stuff?"
Right.
Not is
No,
he
no, I got that. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure if like there are many of his cartoons that would just be offensive today.
Oh, yeah, right? But, comedians, comics, comedy, that's the word, comedy, that's what it's all about, I mean, come on. It's not gonna be funny if you make it woke. Woke
Or
comedy.
asleep.
Can you
I don't
imagine
know.
woke
Yeah.
comedy? It'd put you to
I don't know.
sleep.
Woke to me doesn't mean woke to me doesn't mean unable to see the humor in things. But I understand the way you're using it. Yeah. Yeah, so many of them, even Calvin and Hobbes, one of my favorite. Oh my gosh. And his drawings about Calvin's musings about school, that would be, like I think that people would be upset with that now, but I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that was a common thing when we were growing up. It was just different times.
Right. There was what was it? I watched a movie because I watched Turner Classic, and there was an
Right.
old movie I was watching that they said some stuff in there, and I was like, "Ooh, that wouldn't pass muster today." And then there was oh, what was the other one? Just recently, Misty and I were watching something, and
Oh,
some
most of them. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I mean, really?
oh, this, that's I think what we were watching was it was Gunsmoke, and it was a bunch. The three brothers come into town and kidnap three women to be wives. It's like,
Right?
oh dear.
Oh, so many of the old ones. Even what were we watching the other day? Blazing Saddles. Any of the
Yeah, right.
and there was somebody that was upset with the Monty Python movies, and I was like, my favorite is the The clip clop.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the sparrows, yep, yep.
Oh,
The
yes.
African swallows and the coconuts.
Yeah,
Well,
fun, fun.
how do they bring them over? Well, they grasp them with their little feet. They just hold on to them and carry them. Oh, you know what? I saw on Facebook the other day, yesterday actually, was there was a picture, somebody took a picture of a handful of flamingos on the Sanibel Causeway.
Okay.
You know, I remember reading ages ago that the Florida flamingo is extinct, or was extinct. But, yeah, so there were these flamingos, and I was like, "Wow." I'm like, "That's so cool. If they're starting to, like, migrate around here, that is gonna be so cool." And that is one bird I have not seen in the wild yet.
I don't think I have either, ever. I've seen, like, the roseated spoonbills.
Oh, those are pretty,
Um,
aren't they?
yes, yes. One time we were coming across Old 41, not, coming across Miami to Naples, not 75, and there was only once, and it was like a beautiful sunrise, and the whole, like, how they have, like, the hammocky type, trees were filled with these,
Oh,
and it was just like, wow. I never saw so many, so must have been right
yeah,
in the middle of a migration. That was
yeah,
a few years ago,
yeah. Because I only see
yeah.
1 or 2 here and there.
And I haven't seen in our area, but when you start to go up towards, if you take the inland roads to go to Orlando or DeBerry or those, type places, the sandhill crane, I think they're beautiful too.
You know, yeah, you can almost always see them at the airport.
Oh, okay.
They're almost always there. At the school, FGCU, they had
Mhm.
them. When I was up in Michigan and visiting my girlfriend Linda, her neighbors 3 doors down, there was, like, 3 or 4 of them hanging out in their front yard the whole time I was there. In fact, one night they flew by and they were, doing their sound, their bird sound, which was really interesting because I don't think I ever
What did it
heard
sound
one
like,
before.
Gwen? Could you tell me? I
I'm not even
wanna
gonna
I wanna
try.
hear this.
I'm not gonna even try.
Oh, come on.
And my laugh probably sounds like it.
Oh,
But they
yeah.
yeah, so there was a bunch of them the whole time I was there.
Oh,
They
that's
yeah,
very cool.
those are those are big birds. You forget how big those are until you see them in person and you're like, "Wow," because they stand like 5 feet tall, don't they?
Yes, yes, especially if they stand on both feet. Ha, 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 ha. No, just kidding.
Misty, she works over there, at Sonic, and, they get ibis there a lot, the
Okay.
restaurants, how some restaurants the tourists, they visit and they feed the birds, right?
Right,
And
right.
because 'cause they're like, "What are those?" They're like, "Those things are so neat," and so they feed them, not knowing that they can get kind of aggressive and steal your food from you, and then they poop on everything, so they're trying to discourage it, but the birds still kinda hang out in the parking lot, and lately I pulled in the other day and they were all down, half of them were down on the ground, right? They're all like roosted down. And then there was a few with just one leg, standing on one leg. And I was like, oh, is the special going to be legs today? I see none of your birds have legs today.
Oh, man. Oh, mm. Would they call that deep fried, ibis legs?
Yeah, right. Like when
Oh,
you go to Asia and you go to the movie theater and they give you chicken feet, they
right,
got ibis feet,
right.
deep fried
Oh, lordy,
ibis feet.
lord. When we were over here this past winter, well, I guess, yeah, February is winter, for, Krista and Max's wedding, we were staying the first few nights while we were organizing with friends of ours that live in South Miami, and they live off of a canal. And I opened the front door, and there had to be like 100 ibis, and they were just how they walk, all in a group
Yeah,
down
right.
the road. It looked like an ibis parade. I was like, what the heck? It was as they came around the corner, and they just everybody's just everybody had to stop. The cars had to stop. They were like, "Yeah, it's time for the ibis parade." It was I had not seen so many, and then just being so funny. Can you hear these noises, or is it just me? I'm not used to being in a
Not
place.
that bad. There's a little bit, but it's not that bad.
I have totally gotten used to my little slice of paradise over in Naples, where it's like occasionally you might hear a mower a couple of acres away. And,
Yeah.
uh,
Welcome to the city.
right? I am definitely back in the city. Yeah, but all for a
Um,
good cause. Krista and Max are up in Maine, and it's absolutely gorgeous. She said they had all the windows open when they went to bed last night, and they had to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and shut them all because it was down in the 50s.
oh, no. They're supposed to have a perfect weekend up there.
Oh,
The
I'm so
weather
excited.
I saw I was doing a little checking to see, what the tropics were doing, and they
Right.
were talking about how, up on the East Coast like that, it was just gonna be perfect weather,
Oh,
just
yay.
perfect. So,
That makes me happy.
yay!
They have not been away. They never did get their honeymoon because of her need for the surgery and everything. So
Mhm.
this is just the nicest thing that they're right there on the water up there, and they'll be able to go kayaking and hang out
Now
with friends.
are they by Arcadia?
They
Arca
are, let me
Arcadia.
think of, no, they're not. Oh,
Are they gonna go to Bar Harbor?
they're not too far from Bar Harbor.
Bar Harbor,
That's Bar
Bar
Harbor. You see,
Harbor.
I grew up around there in the summers.
So I
Did you
hope
hear
they go
that?
there. We went there one summer. We did a tour up the coast,
Nice.
and we went there, and they were having record-breaking heat.
Oh, was it 75?
No, it was like 100 degrees. It was
Wow.
ridiculously hot, and the people were freaking out. They're like, "It's is hot." And then, Acadia is right there or whatever it
Right.
is.
Right. Yes, the
Park.
national park and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope
We
they take a trip there because that's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And there's also where they're not far from being able to take like a ferry out to one of the islands, and the the home that they're staying in, friends of ours, they live on a tidal river. So they can take the tide comes in and out, and actually it's you have to make sure that when you go out on the kayak you come back. Otherwise you're like sucking through the mud like
Yeah, that would be a mess. Yeah.
oh, for
I don't
fun.
even think can you even walk through that stuff? Because 'Cause isn't that the kind of stuff you just get sucked into and
Oh yeah, you
you
lose your
know you
definitely your water shoes stay behind if you step down in there.
'cause I've seen some different shows where they're like, people who go out and they what is it? That oysters, they go
Right,
out oystering or whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, you gotta get in before the tide goes out," or vice versa, and 'cause you can get stuck in it and not come out. You can't get you're stuck. You can't get out. It's like,
right. You
yeah, that would
definitely
be
need like somebody to throw you a lifeline.
right, right. Well, I hope they just have the time of their life.
Oh, I think they will. I mean, they were like a little worried that I wouldn't be a good grand kitty sitter, but I
They
have
should know
allayed their fears
better.
through frequent photos of her enjoying herself.
Well, they should know better, you
I
know?
know, but
You should
you
say,
know how new
you should
parents
tell
are.
you should tell your daughter, "You survived, didn't you?"
I think that might be part of her dilemma.
Things turned out all right with you.
For the most part. No, she's
Do you
Sally the
have
right.
any mussings for us today?
Any mussings for today?
You had some good ones
Um,
last week.
I did. You know what? I'm mussless at the moment. How about you?
You need some spinach. Come on, sing it.
Wait,
You're you're tough to the finish because you eat your spinach?
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Boo, boo.
Yep. Then you wouldn't be muscleless. Mussingless.
My mussings have muscles. Well, I
I
was
don't
mussing
know.
about the blue moon,
Mm,
um,
yeah.
and um, and just it didn't look blue to me.
I don't know if they really do look blue, do they?
Mm, No, I don't think so. But it was beautiful. I did step out and just be like, oh, there's just something about a full moon, though, isn't there?
There is. They're bright. They're very bright, and my cat doesn't sleep.
Yes.
It makes your animals get a little weird during. Have you
Oh,
ever
not
noticed that?
not just animals. I was in college. In college, I waited tables and bartended, just for making sure I had that extra money to go out and have fun and pay for my apartment. Uh, and there is real truth to that. People going, oh, a full moon.
Yeah.
No.
I did claims handling and workers' comp and liability.
Oh,
Full moons. Oh my gosh. It was crazy. Nurses will tell you too. Hospitals
yeah.
are crazy on a full moon. They get huge amounts of people showing up in the ER and stuff. And then also, oh, I remember this one guy. I remember I had a claimant that he swore he was a werewolf. He said, I forget it how it was something to do with his claim, and he was saying how, if it was because of a full moon and he was transforming into a werewolf and it had something to do with his injury, and I was just like, "Okay."
Okay. I think that could be a movie script, Gwen. I think you should definitely um, make that into a movie script or even just a good sitcom. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I know. He thoroughly believed it. And I'll tell you what, doing claims was a very interesting segment of my life because people are really there's some different types of people out there, some definite different types.
What time period, year did you do this? Because I'm going to tell you something funny. Because I did uh, investigative work for a personal injury firm, very similar.
Yeah,
Finding
in the
out,
80s. Was it
yes, oh my word, the late '80s. That was me, and that's why I laugh because I went from that legal field to managing a metaphysical bookstore because I was like, this cannot be the real world. That
it
claimant type mentality of researching the things like you might go hire the attorney's firm to say, did this guy really turn into a werewolf, or follow him around because
You know what my very, very first claim was?
yeah.
And I was still in training. It was when I was still in training. And they said, okay, they walked into the room and there was probably 20 of us that were being trained for the US. And they were like, okay, we're going to give you each of you your first claim. Now you're going to, start doing what we've been training you to do. And that starts with, you interview the people, right? Find out what happened, get the details. And So everybody's getting ready to make a call. I look at mine. My very first claim was a death claim. I'm like, seriously, a death claim? I'm like, what's the deal here? And I said, well, obviously I'm not interviewing this person. And they were like, no, obviously you'll get with the police department, get the police report, dot, dot, dot. Turns out I investigate this case, and it was, I think, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it was a liability of some sort. I can't remember what the liability was, to who at this point, but it was the craziest damn accident you ever. It was a young girl who'd been out drinking. She was driving in her Jeep, and she had all the stuff off the Jeep, the doors, the top, I don't know if there's a name for that when you ride ride around your Jeep with all the accessories off of it. But she was driving home down this back road to get home, and she lost control somehow, rolled it, and flew out of the Jeep because she didn't have her seatbelt on, flew into a barbed wire fence, twisted in the barbed wire fence, and landed face down in a mud puddle.
Mm.
And there was no other water anywhere. I laugh because I'm like, I go back to this thing of when it's time for you to go, you're gonna go. All
Yeah.
right. And I was just like, what were the odds of that? I mean, that is one crazy, you gotta admit, that's a crazy ass accident,
Mm.
right? Isn't that just, I know you're tapping it away, but I from a claims standpoint, I was just like, baby cakes, it was your time to go, and there wasn't getting around that because, you know,
Right.
if you thought you were gonna survive being thrown out of that Jeep, survive being wrapped up in a barbed wire fence, that puddle guy, yeah, it was like
Wow. Right. That's such
the
a doozy of a story, but yes,
puddle got her.
right.
She
Wow.
drowned.
Yes. Hopefully,
That's what killed her, was she drowned.
wow. That's
Isn't that, what
mm,
it reminds me of? Have you ever seen the movie? And I only saw one, and I couldn't do any more because it just really messed with my head. Was what is it? Oh,
mm,
I've I can it's on the tip of my tongue. It's a like Final Destination? Is that it? Final Destination. It's a movie about these people trying to escape death.
oh,
And they keep trying to escape it, and the whole thing is that the whole pretext is, when it's your time to go, you could try and hide from it all you want to, but, you're gonna go, and so that was that kind of thing. It had all kinds of crazy, crazy ways people were going, and it was like, "Holy smokes." Yeah,
mm,
so I just tell Spirit, I don't need a big fanfare. When it's time to go, just, like my dad, just let me go to sleep and have it done. You know? I don't need to be putting on any big show.
now are they back there going, "Absolutely, Gwen," or are they going, Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, they're like, "Oh, you can't wait to see what you got going."
Right?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
wanna go quietly into that good night. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, there was some wild stuff. Like I had a guy who survived. I did the newspaper in Detroit Free Press at the time, and the 1 ton rolls of paper. They roll down this thing and go onto a conveyor belt, and then they move. And this one guy's job was to, as these rolls would release, and these are big rolls. Think a 1 ton roll
Woo.
of paper. It's like the biggest roll of toilet paper you ever saw in your life. And it comes rolling down, and his job is to look at it, and if he sees any tears in it, he has to circle it with a highlighter, with a marker so that because if that gets caught in the machines, it jams it all up. So he marks it so that they know that this needs to be cut away.
Okay.
And so he was marking one of them when another one, the next one released, it glitched and it released too soon.
Oh,
And it pinched his head between two rolls of
his head?
his head
Oh,
between these two 1-ton rolls of paper. Now you would think, go back to your cartoons, the cartoons you're thinking, you're like, you, you gotta, it's like, is this person's head now 2 inches thick, but he survived it. And
wow.
and the only thing he had wrong was he couldn't tell a joke. He couldn't understand a joke. So we lost there's a technical term for all of that in a specific part of the brain that can handle jokes. But yeah, that was his thing. He couldn't do that part anymore.
So for him, it's not an insult when they go, you just can't take a joke.
You probably can't tell him very well either. Ba-bum, bum, bum. But yeah, I was like, wasn't your time to go. You know? And then
Right?
on the flip side, when it's not your time to go, you're not gonna go. And so I guess, you know what? That'll be my mussing for the day. My
I
mussing for the
like
day
that.
is that if it's not your time to go, you're not gonna go.
You know what? Absolutely. I can just speak for myself. There are times
Yeah,
I've
definitely not like
worried over that, either for myself or my loved ones. And it's like, don't worry, be happy.
and from a spiritual or from a belief standpoint, however you want to put it, that is a very powerful mindset to find yourself in, where you aren't fearful of what's going to get you, because when it's your time to go, you're going to go. And if it's not, you're not. You can't screw it up. You can't accidentally go. Right? And, somehow our culture has taught us that we accidentally die. We don't accidentally die. We have, it's all predetermined and
Well, or that we have any control over it. Well, I guess you could if you decided to, but honestly, in the everyday scheme of life, we don't have, we think we can control everything and actually just
but
ain't
even
so.
but even if you wanna think about it, because 'cause I'm thinking you're alluding to, like, suicide, right? But if you think about
Or
suicide, how
assisted
many
death,
people who don't?
right.
They think
Yes.
they're going to, but they don't, they wake up and, "Damn. Damn,
Right.
I don't get my damn it, I don't get my do-over."
Isn't that's true too. Isn't that interesting? Hmm.
Yeah, if you're not and that's what I've been kinda working with is,
No, I
if it's your
agree.
time to go, it's your time. If not, you know, you can't get it wrong.
And it's interesting that we got here.
You might not laugh so much.
Only if my head has been squished by toilet paper, tons of like, would that be on your epitaph, like your, uh,
Yeah,
death by toilet paper?
like those old West tombstones. I can't think of any of those, but some of them are pretty funny when you see them.
Right, right, yeah. Here lies so and so.
Buried with his butt up so everybody could kiss his butt. That kind of thing.
Yes, oh my gosh, yeah, well, there we go. But back to it,
Yeah.
the flamingos.
The
I'm
flamingos.
just wondering if, like, they got reintroduced through, maybe they all left from Ian, and now because Sanibel hit Ian very hard, and maybe
Mhm.
Adalia just brought them all back.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe. I'm
but
hoping they're back. Um, in fact, Shelby was like, because I told him about it, and he said, "Are you sure they didn't get loose from out of a zoo?" I'm like,
that has happened.
"I
I
don't know,
remember
but
Andrew when we had Andrew in Miami, and that was my very first introduction to a hurricane of any capacity, and actually lost our roof to our home. But the Miami Zoo, oh, how many things got loose? The parrots, the macaws, because they had that huge aviary and what they couldn't bring in, um, monkeys, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I heard that about the Naples Zoo too. The Naples Zoo way back, I don't know what storm it was, but there was a storm and this one girl I knew, lives near the zoo. And she said for the longest time after that, she said that people would have monkeys in their backyard eating their bananas and off their fruit trees and stuff.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
gosh.
that's kind of dangerous. Monkeys aren't they're not friendly.
And,
They're kind
and
of
they, yeah,
aggressive.
they can be. Yeah. I always think of that when I see people that are traveling to those cities which have so many monkeys, like in India and things, and you see them ripping people's bags off of their shoulders
Yeah.
and going for their food right out of their hands.
And then there was that one lady years ago who had one as a pet, and she asked her friend to babysit. I think it was her friend babysit it, and it
Yes.
like totally just
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those are chimpanzees,
This
which
is
are
not Fun
different.
Friday
Yeah,
material.
those are chimpanzees, which are a little different. But yeah, the girl said, she was telling me that, yeah, they had monkeys and stuff. And now we've got those crazy snakes out in the Everglades that they hunt because they've gotten kind of big in the
Very,
way.
very huge. I saw, okay, I think it was, if I get the wrong community, but I think it was like something called Cypress Woods or something, where somebody took a picture of a huge python that was crossing their front lawn. And then people were saying, report it because they'll come, not only will they come and find it, but they need to track them.
Yeah, yeah, they're trying to get rid of them, because they're not a good species to have as an invasive species.
Well,
So,
anything that can fight with a crocodile or an alligator and occasionally win is not something that I want slithering
right,
through my backyard.
right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you. Hear you. Those things are scary.
yeah.
Shelby's a hunter. He's a bird hunter. And
Uh,
I said, he does like ducks, goose, quail,
quail?
quail, woodcock, and that type of thing. Quail and woodcock never seem to make it back from the hunting trips. The guys would all eat that because it's smaller birds, so the smaller pieces of meat
Right.
and I guess tastier, so they would just eat all that, but they'd bring the goose and duck back. He'd go out once in a blue moon for deer, but that really wasn't his thing, and I said to him, I go, his big thing about being down here in Florida, hunting turkey, he also does turkey, and I said, "They have
Okay.
turkey down here. Go on, yeah, turkey." And ducks, and he's like, "It's too hot." He likes to hunt when his butt's freezing, when it's like
Right.
20 degrees. Make it 20 degrees and he's happy, right?
Ooh,
Well, I said, "You should take up hunting those snakes." He's he's like, he was like, "I have a thing about hunting something that can kill me."
and deer can potentially because they
Do it
they
wrong,
get
yeah.
you. Yeah. But yes, no,
Like, he's never
slogging through
bear.
the Everglades is not something I would like
Yeah,
hunting
it's like,
something long and slivery.
"Oh, yeah, I know, because you gotta get close to it.
Right.
'Cause that
Right.
don't they kill them with, those, bang sticks?
I honestly, I do
That's
not
how they
know.
kill the alligators, when they call the alligator herds, that's how they kill them, is with a bang stick.
Alligator herds?
No, when they call yeah, well, they call the herd. I was making it like that
I
attributes
just want to
other animals.
encounter an alligator herd. I don't
It's
know, man. Whoa.
and they call them when they're, when they
At the
take
gator
down
hole?
when they wanna take down the population, they use bang sticks.
I did not know that.
'Cause
I've only seen them like actually like contain them and cart them off. So
right, and, I could probably be off, but, some people that I knew forever ago who did, these guys did go out there and they would, hunt the alligators, with permits. They they said bang sticks, so they're like a stick with, a cartridge on the end, and so and with an alligator, you gotta hit them in the middle of the forehead. So you
oh,
gotta get really close to them, and you hit that thing into the middle of their forehead, and it goes off like a gun. And, so
they have a pretty thick skeletal skull. I guess skeletal and skull are the same thing. Hey,
Ah!
yes, get all your structural instructions from me because the hip bone's connected to
Anatomy,
the leg bone.
your anatomy. But yeah, so yeah, it's kinda yeah, yeah. I don't know if they shoot them with guns or how they do those the
Well,
snake.
I would need how do you say it? I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. I'd need the 10-foot pole.
You're right. Yes, yes, I
I
agree.
think,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
No way, Jose, on that one.
no, not for myself either. Um, I've only seen one small alligator in the canal down at the end of our street, and that was once in 10 years. Um, one of my neighbors was leaving very early in the morning, and quite surprisingly, it was at the end of the street that was closer to the boulevard that they hit an alligator, and it
Oh,
that was crossing the street in between two wooded areas. And I was like, oh, on our street? Stay away
yeah,
from my backyard.
yeah, right. Yeah, if they're close to water, they
Well, and
travel.
you can climb fences and everything. I mean,
They're
people think,
pretty
oh, I'll put
agile.
this fence up, and nature laughs.
Yeah. There, oh, we talked about it before, the Bonita, um, Gardens, the
Yes,
the
yes.
yeah, the little zoo thing they got over there. Bonita Gardens?
No, it's got another name. Shangri-La.
No, not Shangri-La.
Oh,
There's
not Shangri-La?
Bonita no, that's, a hotel. No, there's, Bonita Spring
Shangri-La is a hotel. I thought it was like a little, um,
no, it's a hotel.
huh,
It's a hotel, it used to have a spa and all that, it was built on a
right,
spring, one of the springs. It was
right.
like, you could go there for a retreat, but it was a hotel. It
Oh,
is
was it
still a
like a little
hotel.
restaurant and stuff?
They do have a restaurant in there, if they're still open, I don't know the current situation there.
Me
But
either.
down on is it Old 41? I think past that on Old 41, there's
Oh, do
Bonita
you mean that wildlife
Springs.
place?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's a person's name or something, I think.
Is it?
I don't know, but I should know because like probably for 20 years we passed it several times.
No, it's not down the one in Bonita. It's in
Oh,
Bonita.
okay, now I got the wrong thing then.
You're talking about the one going out to Miami, the alligator farm? Not
Yeah.
that. No, I'm talking about on Old 41 going through Bonita.
Oh,
There's
oh,
a
okay,
there's
okay.
a
I
place
don't know
in
what
there.
that one is.
It's an old somebody bought it and renovated because they were gonna close it down after just decades and decades of being there. And some people complain because it real sulfur. It's got a lot of sulfur smell because of that's what we got down here, sulfur water, right? And they have a bunch of different animals and stuff like that. But they in their gift shop, they had T-shirts that would say they were photographs, and the title on the top was "Nature Wins." And so it had a picture of like this person's an owl with somebody's small dog. And the other one was an alligator climbing over a fence with a dog on the other side of it. And these were all like photographs, that were on there, and it's a nature wins. It was cute. It was like, yeah, nature. Welcome to nature.
When we first moved out to the estates, one of the neighbors came up and told us our dogs were a little bit bigger, but asked us if we had pets, and we said yes. And they had little dogs, and they lost one of them to one of the great big owls when she opened the door to let it go out at night.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, you might not see them, but they see
Heartbreaking.
you,
Oh,
and
right.
people, Northerners move down and they don't realize just how much it's still very Wild West nature down here. They, and I know I've heard some, we need to exterminate. No, no. You just got to learn to live with nature. For one, you're not going to get rid of them all. And you shouldn't have to get rid of everything to make your
Right.
life happy. And you just got to learn to live with them. So yeah, so I this one because the one community I was in, this one guy, he kept complaining that there was an alligator in the lake. And it's like, there's always an alligator in the lake. You'll always have an alligator in the lake. And he's like,
Anywhere in Florida.
he's like, but it's eyeballing my dog. And it's like, well, your dog shouldn't be out unattended, for one. And two, what do you mean that the alligator was eyeball? Those things have like dead eyes, they don't eyeball anything. They just float around in the lake. So anyway, so he would keep getting them removed. And finally I said to him, I go, that alligator's the least of your worries. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, you've got your rattlesnakes, your bobcats, your coyotes, your bears. And he looks at me and he goes, what? And I'm like, welcome to Florida. I like, welcome to Southwest Florida. I said, that alligator's the last thing you need to be worrying about. And he was like, oh my God. And it's like, yeah,
Right.
we have,
Oh, yes.
we have
Yes.
wildlife. Oh, and panthers. Don't forget the panthers.
We,
They don't
when we
bother anybody.
but they're pretty, yes, they're pretty elusive, and so are we've seen more bobcats than panthers. So we've seen a panther once or twice, but totally just walking, minding their own
Mhm.
business, looking for dinner, which wasn't us, thank you.
Yeah, someone happened to the back over a 10-foot wall and into the backyards of a community, and I was like, I hope everybody has their animals in.
Right.
Hi, Ruth. Ruth's there. Hi, Ruth.
Oh, see, I can't see anything
You can't
today,
see
so
anything.
I, I'm going to
Can you see
rewatch
that?
this and go, how many weird faces was I making because I can't see anything?
I know, I've been going, "Woo!" Making
Oh, hi,
faces.
Bruce. Thanks for joining. Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Labor Day weekend.
And it's September 1st.
It is.
It
Yeah.
is. I just cannot get over the fact that it's September.
She's laughing until she cries emojis. Oh my goodness. I
Uh,
don't know how much of it you caught. We've been all over the place with our conversations today.
yeah. Oh, which was yes,
I
with Ruth loves Florida and the beach. But I'm like, I'm hoping she'll come visit me one day, but I do say, yes, we do have wildlife.
Lots of wildlife.
We did see a bobcat one just a couple months ago. We were walking Tarzan in what we call the back 40, where it's probably an acre that's totally not cleared. We just made little pathways, and so it's all the trees and we ran into one there, and it didn't know what to do because Michael was ahead of us, and I had Tarzan behind, and we were going around two different paths to kind of go look at something, and it went up in a tree and it assessed the situation, and it literally jumped over us to get away. And that was like, oh,
There you go. Hey, I gotta bring you up to speed, seeing how you can't see it. So she sent a yes, happy Friday, and then she put just popping in and oh, I will be visiting. Well,
yeah.
if she visits, I hope Ruth, I won't speak of you in the third person because you're listening. So, Ruth, when you visit Denise, I hope that we can get a chance to maybe have lunch or something during that visit. I'd love to meet you too, you know?
I wonder if we could go to Jet's Pizza,
Oh my gosh.
where you only eat the crust and you save the inside for your family
Yeah, she
because you're
cuts.
just generous like that.
Yeah. Ruth, if we go to Jets, you'll have to make sure that you protect your pizza crust. She says, "Yes, let's do that." That still makes me laugh. You you ate all that crust off of your 4 squares, and you cut it so that it looked like it was made that way and took it home to your husband.
Was that not the nicest and most thoughtful thing I could have done to bring him some leftovers?
You're just terrible. You're terrible. I gotta tap on that.
Yeah,
I have to tap for
he
Michael.
still doesn't know, so shh.
You know, it's the
Oh,
longer it goes on, the worse it's gonna be when he finds out what you did to him.
oh, come on. This is the Funny Friday safe zone.
Yeah, okay. Michael's gonna be like, "And who knows about this?" Well, everybody on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube,
Yeah, he's always rolling his eyes
Ruth.
like, oh, you didn't put anything about me up there, did you? No, honey, of course not.
Ruth's laughing and crying again.
He's such a good guy. Oh my gosh.
Wait a minute, she's got
Wow.
a different emoji up now. What's this one? Oh, it's a shh.
Yes, thank you, Ruth. See? Thank you, Ruth. Now, if I could just get Gwen to agree. Gwen's a troublemaking instigator.
I just, withholding the Jets crust.
That just,
It's a
I know.
crime. It's just a crime.
I I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. That's a personal thing for you. Oh,
Oh my
all's
god.
fair in the pizza game. I'm sorry. When it comes to
I
pizza crust,
guess I guess what you just have to tell Michael is you had to be there.
that's oh,
You had to
perfect.
be there.
Perfect. The fact
And you
that I
could go,
got out my
"Michael,
little
me?"
pizza roller cutter though, and I made it so perfect. That was just so good.
See what she'll do?
I
Not
will.
not a woman to be trusted with crust. So, when you and I and Ruth head out for Jets, we'll have to go, "Michael, are you gonna go with us?" If he says no, it'll be like, "I think you wanna be there."
Oh, see? Instigator. Instigator.
She says you were creative.
There you go. See? Thank you, Ruth. I feel vindicated.
Don't feel vindicated.
You are not budging an inch. You are such a Jets fan. Oh my God.
Oh, I guess I would just be like, if I found out somebody did that to me, I'd be like, "What? What? You did that to me?
Well,
That's
like I saved the soft, ooey gooey insides for
okay,
you.
okay, okay."
Look at this big innocent face.
Yeah, it looks pretty innocent. Yeah. So I guess you could say it's kind of like, a his and hers pizza.
Yes, I get
So
the
he did
outside crust, and you get the ooey gooey goodness of the inside.
yeah. If only she was eating just the crust.
Okay, what was the emoji she used? Thanks, Ruth. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Well, my dear, oh my gosh, we are past 2 o'clock. Did you have one of your classes to go to?
I do. Oh my gosh. See, this is the whole thing about being on my phone and not being able to see anything. I didn't even realize how much time's gone by.
Well,
Oh,
we kinda got through the muck, we kinda got stuck in some muck there in the middle. And we pulled our feet out, maybe lost a shoe or 2, and then circled back around to funniness, especially with Ruth being there.
yay. Oh,
Ruth,
so
you
happy September,
enjoy.
everybody, and may you fall into grace today.
Yeah, you know what? Enjoy the weekend. Give yourself permission to take some time off. Put your feet up. Eat some
Right.
crust.
To celebrate not laboring.
Eat some crust.
I like it. I now gotta go. I don't even know. Is there one in Miami? Maybe they deliver. They don't deliver though, do they?
Oh, they
Hmm.
do. They
Oh,
do.
they do.
They do. But
Right.
it's kind of pricey. And their pizza's kind of pricey to start with. So it gets it start yeah, the how I justify it is if I'm gonna do the delivery, I get 2 4 squares, so that I got lots of crust, and then I freeze it. I think we talked about that, where then I can freeze it. That way I can justify paying the delivery fee because it's just around the corner. So it's really hard to justify what they charge for being lazy to go around the corner.
I will, if you ever need help justifying anything, let me know because that's how my mind works.
She's Ruth says, "Thank you." Hey, maybe I should do that. I'll have to call my Jets delivery person. Denise, I'm gonna place an order. I need you to pick up my pizza and bring it to me.
Oh, yes, I will. I hope you know it won't have any crust.
No, 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 you can't do that. You can't no.
It's
My
the
pizza,
delivery fee.
my
It's the
no,
delivery
no, I
fee.
didn't say I was gonna give you pizza, but now you're telling me you're gonna eat my crust off my pizza before I get it? That might work with your husband, but it ain't gonna work with me, Chiquita.
On that note, I gotta go.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, you're out of here,
Yeah,
girl.
you can't see it, but I'm rolling my eyes really big at ya.
I felt it. I felt it. I was getting the heave ho.
Yeah. See, and I
Oh,
thought we could have something. This is why we can't have nice things because I was gonna have you pick up our pizza and have lunch, but you had to tell me that it would arrive without its crust.
delivery fee.
No, no, that's not what that is.
Oh,
Go now. You're just bad.
okay.
Go.
All right. Oh
Uh-uh.
my gosh, I'm being relegated to the back door.
Well, you and the kitty cat, you have fun.
Thanks. Thanks, Gwen.
Love
I
you.
enjoy Funny Fridays and you make me laugh. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, you warm my
Have
heart
a
today.
great,
I love you, babe.
okay. Bye bye.